Okay, we're back. Bob Kerrigan and Bill Rankin. We are going to go right to Kim that we lost because her phone got cut off. Kim, are you back?
Yes, sir,
Hi.
I'm here.
Okay, well, we'll take your call right now.
Okay, what I was trying to say is I had my baby, and after I had him, I had natural childbirth, and I came home from the hospital. Well, I was walking to the store with my mom, and I completely passed out, blacked out, and had to be took to Sacred Heart Hospital, you know, with an ambulance, and I ended up having to get medical treatment there. The doctor, I was bleeding so heavily that the doctor had sewed an oversized tampon inside of me, plus there was like 7 different metal like clamps left inside of me that had grown to my skin that was took out, and I saved the clamps and all, and I was just wondering if that would be considered like medical malpractice because they had to put me on like 3 real strong antibiotics.
Well, here's the first problem that we have. Number one, you've mentioned the hospital, and our policy is it's very unfair to the hospital for them not to have an opportunity to respond, and we do that whether it's a doctor, hospital, whatever. So what we'll say to you is this. We'll talk generally about medical malpractice and make a comment or two about it.
But one thing that we'd like to know is this going to cause you serious permanent harm?
Well, they said I wouldn't be able to have children again.
Okay, that's serious permanent harm.
Well, indeed. And in order for a medical malpractice claim to be successful in Florida, the claim has to be filed and there has to be a pre-suit screening or evaluation period where the lawyers and the doctors get together and talk about the case to see if it should go forward. There are other problems with medical malpractice cases, but Bill's question was right on the heart of it. If you don't have a very serious long-term problem that was the result of medical malpractice. Now, malpractice does not mean a bad outcome, because you can have bad outcomes in medicine where doctors do heroic and wonderful things. Same with hospitals. But if you have a bad outcome because of negligence, and that bad outcome is a permanent injury of some kind or some condition, then yes, you can bring a medical malpractice claim in Florida. The only way a case like this or any other malpractice case can be evaluated is for the lawyer to obtain all the medical records and to submit those records to a board-certified specialist in the field. Any other way will not give you a fair assessment of whether you have a case or not. So we'll just tell you that if you want to pursue that, you need to call a lawyer that handles medical malpractice cases and let that lawyer obtain these medical records. Bill?
Yeah, I'm just curious about something. This is too sensitive. Don't talk about it. But after you have a baby, there's a procedure called an episiotomy. It's awfully noisy. Yeah, maybe we'll just go back to Bob's suggestion. Just you've got to call a lawyer without a lot of delay, and
because actually, and we'll just hang up now and let you listen on the air. Actually, what we're hearing you say, to me, medically doesn't sound correct. I understand as a layperson what you're describing, but it does not sound to me like medical malpractice is involved. But you don't know until you look into it.
You don't know, but I mean, this procedure that happens right after childbirth, there wouldn't be a tampon involved in that.
I wouldn't think so.
You wouldn't think.
I don't want to make any other comment about that.
No more comment. And we haven't been to medical school, but it's a question.
We haven't had a sewn-in tampon case yet, but you know, one never knows, I guess, what you're going to encounter. Carolyn, are you there?
Yes, I am.
Hey, Carolyn.
Okay, you're on the air.
Okay. I have had 3 different injuries on the job, and with every injury, I had to go and have physical therapy done.
Uh-huh.
I had to have both of my meniscus repaired in my knees.
Mm-hmm.
So with my last physical therapy, I told them that my pain wasn't really subsiding as it should.
Okay, we've lost you.
Hello?
I'm not sure why these calls are dropping. We're going to find out. Hello, are you there? Okay.
Yes, I am.
Yeah, can you hear her?
Well, I think someone's trying to call you, and that's what's your phone is cutting off, I think. I'm not positive about that, but go on and finish your question, okay?
Well, I told the physical therapist that my pain wasn't subsiding, and the physical therapist wrote in my medical chart that I had magnified my symptoms.
Uh-huh.
And they felt like I wasn't in pain. Because with my second surgery, I had complained from the time I fell that my leg was bothering me, and I wanted them to do an MRI on my leg.
Well, let's just interrupt you for a moment. Did that note in the record cause you some harm? I mean, did it?
Yes, sir. I wanted to get some Centivit because they said once they remove, they actually remove one meniscus, or they actually cut half of the meniscus out.
But that wasn't that. They didn't do that because the physical therapist put a note in the chart.
No.
How did a note in the chart hurt you other than making you mad?
No, you ain't making me mad, Bob. I'm from Port St. Joe. I'm rolling with the sharks tonight.
No, we're just not communicating.
He was talking about what's in the chart, not me.
No, I mean, obviously you're upset by somebody in the chart saying you're basically faking it. That would upset anybody.
Sure.
But the question is, I mean, did that note result in some loss or some harm to you other than that?
Well, to me, it just, the doctor closed my care for a certain part of time.
Uh-huh.
And he said, the surgeon said his advice was no longer needed due to the problem, but although both of my meniscus had been repaired, I felt like I needed some injections or something because I'm still walking around in pain. If I walk, I still have to ice my legs down or use a TENS unit.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
And they said that the surgery was so minor, once I had my surgery, I'm supposed to be out of pain, but that's not so.
Well, sometimes it doesn't work. I mean, sometimes you have complications from the surgery. But they need to understand another basic fight that we're in as a society. We're in this fight, that the corporate insurance interests in the country, and particularly in Florida, have controlled the Florida legislature to the point that they have just about eliminated any right of working people to make recoveries in workman's compensation. It's almost.
They've got some story where somebody defrauded the poor insurance company, and the result of that, they're going to visit some harmful laws on everybody. And that's exactly what's happened.
And then sometimes when you get referred to the doctor that the insurance company of the company wants you to go see.
Yeah, what kind of doctors?
The doctor is very interested in advancing the interests of the insurance company because, sadly, for those kinds of doctors, that's who's paying them. I mean, there's the reality of it.
And human nature is we all kind of tend to lean in the direction of whoever's writing the checks.
Paying us. So you may have physical therapists and a physician that truly are not completely independent and not completely committed to trying to get you back. We've seen workman's comp nurses, for example, to force people back into a work situation and get the doctors to release them way too early from their injuries.
It can be a legitimate, I mean, medicine isn't an exact science, and a lot of times the healthcare providers will say, well, this shouldn't be causing problems, and you're reading that record and think, well, what are they suggesting? Then in later records you find out, oh, they didn't know about this,
Right.
And they're not always right. It doesn't mean they're dishonest.
Well, I guess
I told him.
Hard to say.
I told him with my pain, I've had fibromyalgia since an accident in 1988, and my knees never bothered me until I fell on the job, and I didn't fall due to my carelessness.
The question is, what's the remedy now?
Someone else dropping food on the floor.
Have you gone back to comp and said, well, how about giving me another different doctor because I need some more care?
Well, once I told the insurance company that I wanted those injections, they told me I could settle my claim. So they really don't want me to go to another doctor. They're trying to say that I'm mentally unstable and there's nothing wrong with me. I don't know how much Centivit shots, but it's a lubricant that they shot into your knees. Yeah,
but they're not going to react well to you diagnosing yourself and deciding what treatment you need. I mean, you wouldn't expect them to say, oh, well, if you've decided you need Synvisc shots, we're going to get them for you. I wouldn't expect that to work very well.
Why don't you do this? Why don't you consult a workman's compensation lawyer?
Right.
Okay. Yeah, I'm going to do that.
Because
the only reason I asked him about those shots because they already know that I got chronic arthritis in one leg.
I know, but you're not a doctor. And I think what you need, and you're not a lawyer.
And you may be right. I mean, maybe this Synvisc stuff is exactly what you need, but some doctor's going to have to decide that.
And the person that may be able to help you wade through all of this is a workman's compensation lawyer specialist. If you want us to refer you to one, we will do that.
Call us tomorrow, and we'll find a good comp lawyer.
That question.
Well, I think the question is, can you demand shots in your knee if you think it's going to help you? And the answer is no, absolutely not. Okay, you can't do that.
You can't. You're not going to get them to do anything unless some doctor says you need the shots. You know.
And if you have a claim that is not being properly handled, and that's pretty much the case with all workman's compensation claims, you need a workman's compensation lawyer. And they're out there, and they're very good, and they're committed to people, and they help people, and we'll refer you to one.
And they know the ins and outs. Call us, and we'll try to put you in touch with a good comp lawyer, and you can take it from there.
And maybe he'll tell you he can give you a shot. Who knows? I don't know if he can or not. All right. David, are you there?
Hi.
How you doing?
Pretty good.
Good.
Listen, I had hernia surgery about 5 years ago, and they installed this mesh in my stomach. And now I understand it's on a recall list.
Oh.
I've gone to the hospital and gotten my records and found the manufacturer's name and everything.
Good.
But all I have to go by is the Internet, and I can't find out for sure whether I'm on the recall list, not on it. But I have been having a lot of problems with it.
Well, have you contacted the manufacturer?
No, I haven't.
Well, I think Bill's initial sense is right, is exactly right. Call the manufacturer.
I mean, if there's a recall and your mesh is in that lot, or you know the type of product that they're recalling, they, you know, a lot of times you're adverse to these people, and they're not going to give you the best advice. But if there's a recall, they probably will tell you that they're recalling. My gosh, but recalling some substance that's in your body is.
Well, and it'll be based on a lot number of the manufacturer probably, but the more fundamentally, are you having any problems?
Oh, yes. Ever since it's been installed, I just thought it was normal.
Okay.
To have pain every day. And, you know, it's like being jabbed with a butter knife or something.
And you've been putting up with this for 5 years?
Yeah.
Well, have you gone back to the doctor and asked him about it?
Well, I don't have any health insurance anymore because I couldn't do my job anymore. I used to do heavy lifting and real hard construction work, and I can't pick up nothing anymore without it hurting, and I had to let that go.
That's a shame.
Since then, I just haven't really been working anything heavy.
And when you get on the internet now, usually there are loads of lawyers. I mean, if there's a recall, a lot of lawyers will just jump right on that, start a class action over that. And you can't avoid them on the internet if you put that product in there.
Yeah,
so
I'm surprised.
So that's surprising.
I'm surprised that you didn't see the name of the manufacturer in the internet search.
Oh, I did. It's all over the place, but I can't really get a defense. Some websites say it is recalled, and some say it's not on the recall list. But
okay. Well, give us a call tomorrow. Tell whoever the inquiry person is. If you want to, you can call anybody you want to.
I still think calling them. There's nothing wrong with calling the manufacturer. You know, your problems might not be from the mesh.
Yeah.
I mean, you suspect that, but you can't conclude that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you haven't seen a doctor for years, who knows what's causing it? But if from the time of surgery, you've had a problem with it, it may be that we can run that down for you. But as Bill said, call the manufacturer and see if they tell you anything. I don't know that they will, but you could try it.
If you want to call us, we will certainly try to help you.
All right. Okay. Well, thank you very much.
Thanks for the call.
I'll give you guys a call tomorrow.
Okay. Thank you very much, David. You've been watching The Law Show with Bill Rankin and Bob Kerrigan and our partners. Well, you know who's up next week?
I do not, but somebody informative and telegenic will be on there, we hope, instead of us.
And if you couldn't get through, you call us tomorrow, and we'll try to address any question that you have and try to help you any way we can. And until next week, thanks for watching.
Good night.